Hello, good morning, everybody. I just want to introduce you to Phil Chrysandrea of Kitchen Makeovers. And, Phil, thank you so much for being here this morning. And please tell us in your own words what you do and how long you've been doing it for.
Lovely. Well, thanks for having us. But yeah, so it's a kitchen makeovers business. It's a franchise actually concepted and set up originally in Hertfordshire. And I was the first franchisee that come on board. I actually bought the franchise in the first lockdown.
Wow.
It was kind of a crazy but brave decision. And being their first franchisee, they had a history with some other businesses that they've done this with, or one of the partners certainly. I come on board. I saw that there was a market for what we do, which is really saving people quite a lot of money. I mean, kitchens nowadays are crazy expensive, sort of 12 to 15,000 for your average kitchen rip out and redo. But, bigger kitchens, 25, 30,000 pounds. What we do as a makeover company is we will replace everything but the carcasses. So if your kitchen layout is good, and the carcasses are in good shape, we'll replace the doors, the panel work, worktops, as much and as little as you want. So if you just want a door change, we can do that. If you want the whole kitchen made over, and it saves roughly about 50% of the cost of a brand new kitchen, but whilst getting absolutely top quality products. All of our doors are manufactured in the UK, very, very high quality doors. So it's not it's not a super cheap alternative to just paint, giving your kitchen a lick of paint. It really is transforming it into a brand spanking new kitchen, but not spending £15,000 in the process. So that's what we do as a business, is make over kitchens. We do full kitchens as well. So if there are certain places I'll go to, certain clients where the kitchen really is 30 years old, it's had it, then we will quote for a brand new kitchen. But predominantly our business model is, let's save time, let's save money, and let's save waste as well. So we've got a really big ethos around, not wasting, while we're ripping out carcasses that are absolutely fine in a kitchen, to then replace them with another carcass identical to the one we've just ripped out. So we're saving all that landfill and waste as well. So, there is an ethical side to the business also.
Wow. And but there's loads of kitchen companies. I mean, here in the UK, especially here in Cornwall as well. And what I would ask you on that, what really your company, what sets you apart from other kitchen makeover companies here in Cornwall?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a good question. I think for us, I think the main things are the quality of the product that we sell, the efficiency of the business. So our communication's really good from start to finish. I've picked, it's taken me a while to build up my fitter base, but the fitters that I have on board are amazing. Fantastic, excellent workmanship, clean, tidy, all the kind of things you want in a tradesperson in your house. So that's what I feel sets us apart, is the level that we go for customers, and the professionalism of what we try and achieve with our customers on every single job. So I think that's our kind of our USP as a local business, but as a national business, one of the things we don't have big expensive showrooms that obviously you then need to add to your profit margins in order to charge that back to customers. We bring everything to the customer. So especially if it's someone that maybe is quite they can't get out and about, they're a bit immobile, we can come out to you with all the door samples, worktop samples, thoroughly go through the kitchen, find out exactly what the customer's needs are, and then give them a solution based on that.
Wow. I mean, that's great where you could actually take it to the customers instead of them coming to a showroom and, like I said, getting us added expense. And so it cost cutting that way. It's great. And one thing you did mention about COVID, because obviously when you started in this business is around that time. Because I'm curious, speaking to a lot of tradesmen, it was a challenging time, but also a profitable time for I guess kitchen makers, tradesmen in the construction industry. So for yourself, what was some of your challenges that you faced, or what impacted your business, and what did you do about that?
Yeah, so I think predominantly it was a scary time because obviously I started the business in the first lockdown. Construction, I think at that stage the main head office had closed down in the first lockdown
Right.
because
Okay.
everyone was very unsure what was going on. But by the time I'd actually kind of set the company up and launched the company, think at that stage we were going into another lockdown. By the time it had all been set up, but obviously construction could still operate. So for me, it was a trying time in a sense of getting the customers, but at the same time, it was good because not to put a positive spin on something so terrible, but customers were indoors constantly in their kitchens, looking at their kitchens, thinking, God, I need to change it. But when they're out and about and they're spending their lives, majority of it out of the house, they maybe don't think of it as much. So it was actually quite a busy time. The business started off quite fast because so many people wanted to do home improvements. And yeah, so it was actually quite a positive time for us in terms of start of the business rather than a negative.
Yes.
So yeah, and I think that's kind of does that answer the question? Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. You're doing great. You're absolutely great, fantastic, and also and also say with that there, obviously, it comes with its challenges, and you talked about those, but right now, fast forward to 2023, what challenges that you're having now? I mean, because everyone has
Yeah.
challenges. So what are you having now as a challenge,
So
about that?
I think so I would say it's actually more challenging now than it was in COVID.
Okay.
And I think a big part of that is the cost of living crisis. So as well as that opening opportunities for us because people are obviously looking to save money and cut back where they can. It is also a time where I think people are, the news is very much, there's a lot of scaremongering, there's a lot of negativity on the news all the time. And I think people are just holding their cards a bit closer to their chest, which I understand, people are worried genuinely, with mortgage rates going up and food bills doubling almost. So, people are holding on to their money a bit more and they're thinking, well, we wanted to do the kitchen, let's wait till next year, let's see what happens next year. So I think that's probably our biggest challenge at the moment, is people, clients that want to spend right now and not just something that they're thinking about that want to do next year. Obviously saying that we still get a lot of clients, but that's definitely something I've noticed. I think in all my years of working and the different recessions we've kind of got into as a country, I feel like this one's biting the most because it's affecting all of the core things that we need to live, food and energy. So yeah, I think that's something that's definitely impacting us.
Does that definitely impact you? Okay. And with that, what have you done about that? Or is that something that's still ongoing, or have you got?
Yeah, I'd say it is ongoing. I think I'm looking at and I have I've invested into some different marketing approaches, again, just because things have sort of changed a bit. So, we very much get a lot of our leads from leaflet distribution still, which, a lot of people think are quite archaic, but, had worked for us fantastic. That's definitely seen a big decline in terms of lead generation. And I think, again, that's from people that have now gone back, had to go out and go back to work and get out the house, and people aren't seeing that advert as much, or they're just coming in and scooping it up with their other letters. Not to say it's still not working, and I use a Cornwall distributor, they're fantastic. Cornwall Promotions, I'm going to shout out. But so I'm looking at alternatives. I've been spending a lot more on Google ad search, and that's done through the franchise as well. But that's definitely seen a big increase in terms of where I'm getting my leads from now.
Sure.
There's a lot more people online and looking at it in that way. So I think that's something that we've adapted and changed a bit. And I'm looking again, I like supporting local businesses. So, you know, some of the local magazines and you know, things like that, we're going into that. We're advertising with a company based in Weybridge that does distribution of like a kind of just a 4-page magazine that's going out. I've previously worked with other magazine companies in Cornwall, but you know, it's always about, I think, always trying new things, always trying to adapt what you do. You know, it doesn't always, you can't just keep doing the same thing and it works forever. If it was that easy, then we'd all be laughing. So
Exactly.
it's not, you just have to keep adapting, I think, and just finding new approaches and new ways of getting out there and getting our business name out into Cornwall and hoping that people, you know, give us a chance to come and see what we can do for them.
Exactly. And out of all of that, what have you learned about yourself as a business leader?
That I can do it. So I think, you know, again, my background's quite a very varied background, but predominantly since I've lived in Cornwall for 15 years, I've been in management. So I started off as a store manager and then worked my way up into another company as an area manager. And I think that put me in good stead of understanding how to deal with people. Because as a company, we don't have loads of staff. You know, my wife, it's very much a family business. My wife works with me on the back end of the business. And again, we've got local accountants and people like that work with us. But you know, our tradespeople, they are self-employed and they work through us. But they're dedicated to us. You know, we're their priority. But again, it's how them conversations happen and dealing with those. But you know, again, that's something that I had learned in the past, how to deal with staff and people, colleagues, people you're working with. But I think for me, new things is that, you know, I've never owned a limited company before. You know, the taxations, all the things that go in hand with that. It was quite daunting. It was quite, at first I was like, you know, is this something I can do? Even though I've run multiple sites, and you know, can I do this? Can I do my own business? And I think once I started the process, and obviously buying into a franchise definitely makes that easier, because you are buying into a sort of pre-existing model, and a lot of things are placed there for you, which is why I wanted to take that approach initially. But you know, having taken that approach and got into it, I've realised that actually, I can do this. I can run a successful business.
Come on.
Yeah. So
that's great. That's great. And last but not least, I'll ask you this one there. What advice would you give to a 18-year-old who wants to start their own business? What would you tell them?
Good question. It's a hard one, because I'm sure there's 18-year-olds out there that could probably just start a business. There you go. They've just got it naturally. I think for people that maybe don't have the skill set naturally, or haven't had, you know, a mentor in their life from a young age or something like that to show them, I think maybe trying to get that mentorship, or getting into a business that or a field of something, you know, let's just say, for example, you want to start your own clothing brand, go and work for a clothing brand. You know, I think my biggest bit of advice I used to give to everyone that come and work for me in my previous roles, and you know, and I will do moving forward as this company expands, is don't ever treat a job like you're just being paid to do a job and just to pay the bills. It's a learning process. To do something that you're going to get something from, you're going to learn from it. And if you want to start your own business, you know, understand what it is, understand what you're selling, what you're, you know, sales, again, a massive important part. Learn sales, learn how to speak to people, you know, how to talk and communicate to people. So I think that for me is a big one. I think just do your research, learn. You know, if you need to get a job while you're setting up the business, do it in the field that you're trying to set your business up in. I know it's not always possible, but you know, especially if you come out of a unique idea that's a multi-billion-pound idea that no one's come up with, you know, good luck.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah. So that'd be my advice to 18-year-old me is you know, don't just learn, just absorb everything you're doing at that stage. Just take it all in, and just use that knowledge to help yourself more, you know, and don't be scared. Like, I think one of the big I'm 41 years old, and it's taken me this long to get to this stage. I do wish, even though I've learned a lot over the last 10 years, I do wish I'd done it 10 years earlier, because it isn't as hard as what you think. It really isn't. If you can sustain a very difficult full-time job, whether that be in, you know, nursing or, you know, cleaning or anything like that, where you're physically, it's a long day, it's hard. If you can endure that, you can set up your own business and make a success of it.
Come on, come on. That's great. And Phil, I will say thank you very much, dear, for this morning.